Today's date is May 23, 2012. My name is Paul Robards, Library Director of Roberts Memorial Library at Middle Georgia College. I will be speaking today with Dwight M. Gatlin from Hawkinsville, Georgia, about his experiences in the Vietnam War. Mr. Gatlin, in what branch of the service did you serve?
Army.
Why did you join?
I sure didn't join. I got this letter from the President of the United States of America welcoming me to his troops.
How old were you when you joined the military?
4th of December, 1968. I would have just turned 23 in November.
Where did you receive your basic training?
Fort Benning, Sand Hill.
Where did you attend advanced training and how long did it last?
At that time, with everything going on, there was a lot more infantry schools than there were later. Fort McClellan up in Alabama, above Anniston, actually at that time was advanced infantry training. That's where a handful of us went up there. I have no idea why. Most of the guys went to Fort Polk for infantry training. Thank God we went to McClellan.
What was your day like during training?
Basic, AIT, either one or both? Or
AIT.
Strenuous physical training, like running from one place to the other with your gear, out in climbing through the woods, going up in the foothills there, real strenuous physically. I don't recall that much classroom type. We had some, but it wasn't as much as we had in basic, if I remember correctly. It was more or less teaching you how to use all the different weapons and how to go through the woods at night from point A to point B with a compass and all that sort of stuff.
What kinds of weapons did you learn to use?
In basic, we were one of the last folks to go through the old M14. At that time, it was old. Then in AIT, we had the M16. That was our assigned weapon. But we also fired the .45 handgun, the .50 caliber machine gun, and doggone if I can remember the smaller machine guns that the guys in the platoon toted on the shoulder.
Browning?
The smaller machine
240
gun.
saw.
I can't remember. Whatever. And grenades, of course. We had grenade training.
Were there any particular events that occurred during your military training that sticks in your mind?
We had a young lieutenant officer, big old dude, who wasn't any or much older than me, taught me and signed up for officer school. That's one of the biggest things I remember. And the other is this little black dude from Washington, D.C. beating the hell out of me. I still got a scar up here.
How did your military training change you?
The training, the basic and the AIT, more than anything else in the world, and of course then in Vietnam, you're looking at a country boy from L.A., that's Lower Alabama. Naturally, at my age, the schools were not integrated. During my 4 years of college, there was one student who came, I think, my third year, black guy. Never had a black friend or anybody that I knew well. Of course, that changed right off the bat in basic training with my bunkmate, one John Buddy Hicks from Albany, Georgia. For whatever reason, he and I and a couple more guys was those that I talked about were singled out to go to Fort McClellan for AIT. So we were bunkmates there also. What I'm trying to get around to is it taught me a hell of a lot about black folks, which I didn't know beforehand. I still see him occasionally. I had seen either on the wall or then read somewhere, I can't remember, years back, wouldn't have been the wall, that a John Hicks from the outfit he was in was killed. I thought he was dead. But a few years back, long story short, I found out he was not. I wrote a letter to the paper in Albany and found him, and went down about 10 years ago, and we had a marvelous reunion. And of course, when I went over, there were several black guys in my outfit, and later when I became the platoon sergeant. Anyway, dealing with those folks, of course, over there, it didn't matter if you're black, white, or purple. The guy had to have your back.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the big thing that I'd never learned in school, college, anything else. There's something about other folks. However you want to put that.
What dates did you serve in Vietnam?
I can't remember the exact dates. It was October 69 through October 70. I actually came home 2 weeks and a couple of days early from the entire year.
Oh, that's known somebody.
No, I was unfortunate. Most people had what they call the early out, where you get to come home. Most people came home a few weeks or a couple of months early. And the 5th Infantry Division, at least what I was in. Of course, naturally, when I only spent like 22 months, you drafted in for 2 years. But I only spent somewhere around 22 months. Because when you came back, if you had 6 months or less active duty left, they sent you on to the house.
What was your rank during the war?
I went over as PFC, made specialist for probably in February. I can't remember exactly. And that summer I made Buck Sergeant. I actually made E5 Buck Sergeant in less than 2 years, which was amazing, I reckon.
What awards or citations did you receive for your service?
I got a Bronze Star and Army Commendation Medal.
Did the training you received prior to going to Vietnam sufficiently prepare you for your duties?
No.
Did you bring a personal weapon with you to Vietnam?
No.
What was your first encounter with the enemy?
I never, in my entire tour, saw the enemy eyeball to eyeball. We ran a radar outfit. I got sent prior to going over to radar school out in Fort Huachuca. So we ran that at night up there. Ever so often, the little bastards would get all doped up or whatever, and 2 or 3 of them, or 1 of them or 2 of them, with satchel charges on the back would try to come through the wire. Never happened. Never got through the wire while I was there. We blew them away. So if you want to call it an encounter, the first week or the first couple weeks I was up there, I was coming out. We lived in a bunker, underground bunker. Just coming out, just a towel wrapped around me to go to the shower. Of course, the shower was a 50-gallon drum up on a little platform. And I heard this weird noise. I can't make the... if you ever hear it, you'll never forget it. The rockets. Similar to a mortar, but a definite sound of its own. That was my first encounter. And it just came right over my... if you don't hear it, you're dead. But when it comes over... it's got that distinct sound, and I stopped in my tracks. What was that? And then all of a sudden, I needed the towel after that, not for the shower, to wipe my rear end. Probably it scared it. But you had to know what that sound was. It was unreal.
From your experience, how would you evaluate the enemy's fighting ability?
I don't know how to answer that, since even though I was infantry, they sent me to that school. I never had, never was in a firefight or anything like that. I just know from what I heard from the other guys saying and all that. And I don't know about fighting ability, but their overall Army ability stunk. I was real gung ho,
Hoo-ah.
having the salute exactly correctly, not starched fatigues and all. Well, not up where we were up there, but there was no discipline to them, hardly. I'm talking about the Arvin regulars. And when I left it where I was, we were phasing out up there to the Arvins, all of our equipment and whatnot. A friend of mine wrote me about a month after I got home, after everything was completely turned over to them. They painted our Jeep purple, and our radar equipment wouldn't even work anymore because it got rusted because they didn't clean it, full maintenance on it every day, and that sort of stuff. But the general thought, without me being personally involved with them, fighting or whatnot, was they were not a very good military outfit. I'm talking about the Vietnamese regular army. Now, there were some of the special forces types. The toughest dudes over there was the ROC Marines. That were a lot of them were over there. They were awesome. The Republic of Korea Marines that served there. I was talking about the Vietnamese army not having a lot of discipline. The ROC did. One guy went to sleep up there on some kind of guard duty. The little lieutenant put him in one of those big old metal, I forget what you call them now, metal container things. Pulled a pin on the grenade, put his hands behind his back where he had to hold on to that grenade. If he went to sleep and let it go, he was toast, and kept him in there about 12 hours. Because I know what it was. It wasn't. He stole something out of one of our bunkers, like some United States Army guy's watch or something like that, and got caught. And the ROC Marine guy did that to the little guy.
Wow.
They were a crack bunch.
What is your evaluation of American military leadership in Vietnam and of your immediate commanders in the field?
I thought it was very good. Specifically, of course, in my area, that's the only kind I can talk about. Now, up where we were, okay, at the fire base where I was, there was a base commander, a colonel, and infantry troops, mortars, artillery. Then there were we radar guys. At any time, maybe 20 of us to man 2 sites on each side of the fire base. Our commander was 25 miles to the rear. We didn't even have an officer up there. From about February on, I was in charge. I was acting jack before I actually made sergeant. And I didn't see much of them up there. Every month or so, our lieutenant would ride up there in a Jeep and spend about an hour and go back. They were scared to death. They thought because we were up right on top of the DMZ where you could see the North Vietnamese over there, that it was all dangerous. We actually didn't give as much of the little guys trying to come through the wire or the rockets and mortars as you did back at the big post or base or whatever you want to call it back there. And just the fact that you were up there within spitting distance of the Vietnamese, that's bad up there. What it was, I'm talking what I'm not supposed to talk now, so at the end, but what it was, just imagine MASH and put radar guys instead of the medical guys. That's how we were. We ran that radar at night. We wore shorts. We grew beards about once every 2 weeks. We had our own Jeep. We'd go get mail back at the rear and pick up stuff in the PX in the Army. I'm used to the Air Force Base now. We were out there on our own. But that base commander, he was actually, we were, assigned to him, however they did that. And during the time I was there, we had 3 different ones. They were cool. Well, 2 of them was. The last one, it came during the rainy season, when it rained every day. Came up there early one morning, and nobody was manning the radar. And he woke me up in bed, in our bunker, and looked at me. I hadn't shaved in about 3 days. He dressed me up one side and down the other, and said, "Why didn't somebody on the radar?" I said, "Look, we've been doing this for 11 months now. If he's not there, there's a reason for it, sitting over there at the radar place." Long story short, that guy stayed on our ass for a while. He was trying to make us get up every morning and shave in that rainy weather in your steel pot and all that. And he didn't realize anyway. And he started we stayed up all night. Not all of us. We were on, one guy did it. If you got a fire mission, you wake up, the other guy took 2 to do that. He was going to make us man the perimeter guard duty during the daytime and do this at night. And came in there with me, with my guys, and said that. And I says, "No." And guys, they got bug-eyed. All those guys younger than me. He said, "We won't have to do that." I says, "No, we're not." He says, "Look, you don't understand. I'm the base commander here. You and your guys will man those bunkers tomorrow." I says, "No, sir, we'll not do that. You contact my officer back in the rear." We never did it. And I really gained respect of my troops right there. But the guy, he was like, he wasn't, but he was like he was a lieutenant colonel. He was like some dude fresh out of the academy or something, wanting to treat that place like a stateside base. Can't do it. And he found out quickly. Anyway, that was the only run-in or incident I saw or heard about where you had a real dodo in command of something. I was fortunate enough to sit down and talk with Westmore. He actually choppered in one Saturday morning and walked around with the whole entourage and sat down and talked with us about what we did up there, what was going on, and explained it to him. I said, "Well, our living quarters could get better. At that time, we were in an old bunker. It leaked." Well, that was a Saturday morning. On Monday, those big old choppers, the whole bunch of, there was all kinds of equipment dumped in there. They built us a brand new state-of-the-art bunker, dug the hole in the ground and all that. And then we had a TV and a refrigerator. Of course, you had to have a generator for that. I'm rambling.
What did you do for entertainment?
We bust up ammo boxes, have a cookout. We were something like 5 miles up a dirt road right there. If she's got my book, if I had those pictures, you would see exactly what I was talking about. About 5 miles down the dirt road to a little village, and then on back down to the paved road that went down to Quang Tree. We stop in the little village and buy dope from the Vietnamese there, take it to the rear, and trade it to the mess sergeants for steaks and stuff. You could buy a bottle of Jim Beam for $1. I can't remember. During the course of the year I was there, I smoked pot probably 3 or 4 times. A lot of guys, it was a daily routine, so I didn't get into that. But there's nothing, not only could no females be up there, no Vietnamese people could come any further than that. Somewhere, there's a place down along that village, they couldn't come any further north up toward the DMC. So we saw nobody. Of course, you got an R&R. I didn't take an R&R, where you could go to Bangkok or somewhere, Australia. The guys that married got a chance to go to Hawaii for a week or 2. I can't remember. I turned that down. I stayed there. Saved every penny I made. And when I got home, I had a brand new Corvette sitting in the Chevrolet dealership in Warner Robins. I almost paid cash for the whole thing. There was no entertainment. They drew straws. We had a lottery or something. Whenever the Bob Hope shows and those stuff came, they were 50. They wouldn't come up that far north. They thought it was dangerous too. There was some kind of lottery thing, and a few guys got to go with that. I didn't get that. At the big base back there was at NCO club. They would have a Vietnamese band playing occasionally. Rarely, I was back down there, but one time I got a picture. I saw a Vietnamese girl band. That was it for the whole year. Oh, let me tell you about my trip, entertainment. One Saturday, one weekend, we got in my Jeep and went down all the way to Da Nang. I can't remember how far that was. We had a Jeep that was used along with the radar. We had the radar, and we had a big nighttime vision device, about that big around, a big old scope that you could see out. And we also had an infrared light mounted on the back of a Jeep. It looked like a Hollywood, those big Hollywood spotlights. Cool. As a matter of fact, you had a switch on it, where you could switch it to white light from infrared. Well, what you did, if you picked up something out there with a radar, you could look at it with that night scope. You could see what was out there. Thirdly, you could back the Jeep up. The Jeep's have to run and fix that big infrared light, line it up to the correct azimuth, the plotted point out there. You had little things like binoculars. You look out over you see the infrared light going out there. I only used that one time, and we called in everybody at fire mission. I said, look here, now when we turn on this white light, y'all blow their shit away. They want about 2 clicks out there, and there's about 5 little guys, those satchel charges coming at us. When that big white light hit them, it was like a deer in the headlights. So within a split second, there's nothing left, a little greasy spot out there. But we could take that Jeep one Saturday, and totally unauthorized, hit Highway 1 or wherever that main road was. I can't even remember now.
Route 1. And
went all the way down to the lane with that big old light on the back. There wasn't any back seats. So 2 guys could sit in the front, 2 or 3. Then there was 2 or 3 other guys just hanging out the sides with their feet. We had just like stateside going to the beach or something. We had a case of beer ice down. We were hauling ass. Going down the you seen the all those little Vietnamese and all those little buses with 100 of them hanging on it, and the traffic and the motorcycles. I was just weaving in and out of traffic. All of a sudden, there was like stateside. There was a light flashing behind me. I had just passed the. I know it was a colonel, maybe a general, the commander for all the MPs in I Corps. They took my ass directly to jail. Did not pass go. Did not. I got DUI, speeding, and like stateside, and my commander had to come over there and get me.
Where was the Article 15?
Oh, I didn't. I got out of that. That was coming back from Da Nang. Excuse me, because going down, we went down and had ice cream and hamburgers and stuff we hadn't had since we left home. And that was on the way back. And after we'd stolen, we went to an NCO club down there. And outside was a generator on a trailer just sitting there. And we hooked it up to the Jeep and took it back because we needed a generator to run our stuff. We had like little refrigerator and whatnot. So we actually had we were pulling a stolen generator when we got stopped too, but they didn't know that. That was the most entertainment we had the whole time I was there.
Did you ever?
I hadn't even thought about that in years.
Did you ever feel that the American public was less than enthusiastic about those who served in Vietnam?
Oh, sure. Because we had the little TV. We actually had the Armed Forces little TV station over there, and we saw usually late news and all that stuff. But the worst encounter I had was when I came home to Fort Lewis, Washington, where I got out of the Army. Flew into Seattle, and we wondered, we didn't go up to the terminals like you normally did. It was Flying Tiger Airline. And the ugliest women on it I've ever seen in my damn life. Steward says, way out on the South 40 at the Boondocks, and they'd sent buses out there and pushed up the little stairway thing. We got off and got on the buses out there instead of going into the terminal. And we should have been smart enough to figure it out. At that time, people were spitting all over the guys where they formerly did it, coming through the terminal and all that, and doing all kind of crap. So they started making the returning troops do, like I said, deplane onto a bus and bus all the way around the airport to Fort Lewis. Couldn't even walk through the airport.
Have your views about the war changed over the years?
No.
If you could go back to December 1968, would you repeat this experience, or would there be things you would change?
Well, I couldn't change going because I was drafted. At the time, it was the most ungodly thing I thought had ever happened to me. And of course, after it's all said and done, I realized it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me since I got to come home. Is learning. I guess I became more educated in the Army than I did 4 years of college and 12 years of school. A great learning experience.
Is there anything else you would like to share with future generations about your Vietnam War experience?
I don't know what to say. Most of us didn't fully understand what the hell we were doing there. But for the most part, everyone's welcome. I'm here. Somebody's got to be here, so we need to do whatever it is we've got to do and do our time going back home.
Is there anything else you would like to share with future generations about your Vietnam War experience?
I can't think of anything specifically. I cannot.
Thank you for your service, brother, and thank you for taking part in this.